Hi to all. This is another DisruptCyprusLive. We're here with Michael Georgiou. Michael is a Cypriot entrepreneur in US. We connected via social media. Michael has an interest in story, so we said to do this DisruptCyprusLive session, so Michael can share different stuff about his his journey as an entrepreneur and as a co-founder of the Imaginovation, an award-winning and seven-figure app development company based in the US. Hi, Michael, and welcome to Disrupt Cyprus podcast sessions.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you very much for having me, Panis. I know we've been in touch for a few years now. I think we first connected on Twitter. Remember years ago. So it's good to talk to you again. Thank you again.
Yeah. So let's start from the beginning. Can you tell us a bit about you, about your story, and go through there?
Yeah, definitely. So the story of I'll tell you more about the story of the company. So when I was about 23 years old, I came back from doing my master's degree in Australia, and I finished my master's in business communications marketing in Gold Coast, Australia. And I came back here, and I was unemployed for about 7 months. Couldn't find a job. I had this little chip on my shoulder where I thought I could find a good job. And in 2011 in the US, the market still wasn't good. It was still rebuilding from the 2008 economic crash. And, I think reality gave me, I got a check of reality. And, there was a lot of blessing in disguises that were coming my way. And actually a good friend of mine, one of my best friends, his name is Pete Peranzo. He's actually my brother-in-law. He's married to my sister as well. And he knew, I've known him for over 15 years. And he called me one day and just said, Michael, would you like to start a company, a technology company? And I didn't know what to think. I was kind of scared, but excited at the same time. But I was unemployed. So I said, what the hell? I'm unemployed. I have no, what's the risk here? Maybe I'll just get some experience and we'll see if this works. So he was actually working another job at that time. He was working at a big tech company, software company called SaaS. So me and him, we joined forces, 50-50 partners. He's head of technology and I was head of sales and marketing. So it was a really good fine balance between the company. And we came up with the name Imaginovation, and we just started promoting all over Craigslist, actually. Craigslist was a free form of advertising. I'm sure many people know what Craigslist is. And, I was posting Craigslist ads all over the country. Actually, we got banned on Craigslist about 4 or 5 times because we were posting too much. So part of my entrepreneurial spirit, we didn't give up. We just kept going and finding other ways to advertise for free, because we really started with no money, and we started from scratch. We're 100% organically bootstrapped as a business. So we were pretty successful on Craigslist, and we were getting calls and we were getting leads for people that really wanted websites, and that's what we were. We were a web development company at that time. We were developing websites and web applications, and part of the business, a big part of the business, was that Pete, my business partner, brother-in-law, so he actually knew developers overseas that he worked with previously, and they were willing to work for free for a few months until we could help close some business. And the third week that we started, we closed a pretty decent sized deal, and then we just kept closing more business and then reinvesting everything back into the company. And then we just kept expanding our services. So we started web design, web development, and then we expanded into the mobile arena, doing iOS and Android applications as well. And then a few years later, we got into digital marketing. So we were a turnkey technology and digital marketing shop. We pretty much did everything. And then a few years later after that, we decided to scale back and really just focus on what we were best at, focus on our core strength, which was building custom applications for businesses. So we were working with startups and funded startups, and we even worked with enterprise level companies as large as Nestle, MetLife, different Fortune 500, Global 500 companies. And yeah, that's really the story. We've employed anywhere from 20, full-time people the last few years to upwards of 55 to 60 full-time people. So we've kind of scaled up and down over the years, depending on the amount of projects that we had and how the company was doing, how the company was performing. So yeah, it's kind of a story in a high-level bird's eye view. So
How did you, can you elaborate more on, how did you had your co-founder, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
It's good if you have also in lessons, because a lot of people are there asking, this is the main question of a new startup, how I can find my co-founder.
How do you find a co-founder? That's a tough one. For us, it happened very naturally. We didn't force it. So if you are looking for a co-founder, there are many ways to do it. I believe there are websites out there that you can actually find partners and you can align on your values and your goals and what you're trying to achieve and all of that. I don't know any websites, but I have heard of some websites out there that they can connect you with potential partners. But even that, to be quite honest, I think that's very difficult. I believe that you have to let it happen naturally. Don't force to find a partner. You can try to promote yourself and your business and that you are looking for a CTO or a CMO or another co-founder if you'd like, but I wouldn't force it. I would try to have it happen naturally. Dealing with another partner isn't easy, especially me and Pete, we're family, right? So you're definitely going to have your differences and your different dynamics. But we've overall been really, really good because me and Pete have a very good dynamic. He's very business oriented and he's operationally very strong and he's technically very, very strong. So, and we operate, we have a technology company. So, Pete was a big part of the company's success alongside of what I've done was marketing and branding the company for the past 9 years, as well as selling to customers. So it was a really good fine balance in the partnership. He had something, I had something to offer, and we connected, and it brought us a lot of success. So my tip is let it happen naturally. Don't force to find a co-founder. I don't think it would be that easy to just find someone to match your values. So that's my opinion on it.
You said you are growing. You mentioned that you are a 7-figure software company in the US. Yeah, if you can elaborate more on what you are doing and actually, do you believe that you have the right team to build your vision? And yeah. Team is important when you build a startup or any business. So I would love to have your thoughts and why do you believe that the current team is the one that will take you forward, maybe from a 7-figure software company become 8-figure or 9-figure company?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll tell you from when we first started, the team we did have, they weren't as technically strong as the team that we have now. And it is all about the people. It is all about your employees. It's all about your team. For us, our employees come first and our customers come first, or actually our employees come first and our customers come second, because without our employees, we don't have customers. So, that's very important. We try to ensure that we take care of, all of our people to retain them and then to bring in new talent and better talent. But it is all about the people. Right now, our team is technically very strong and very experienced. Most of our employees now have been with us for over 4 years. And I'll tell you, Panis, it was not easy to do that. We had, because we operate here in the US and then we have We have offshore full-time web and mobile developers in India, right? So we're able to provide high quality work, high quality deliverables, and, you know, at a more competitive cost structure. So it makes us very competitive and I believe a threat in the market compared to a lot of our other competitors here in our region and in North Carolina. But you have to be very picky with who you hire. You know, the experience that we've had, Pete and I have had is to hire slowly and fire quickly. And we've been through all of that before. We've had people that didn't perform well and we kept them because we needed them, right, to finish projects. But, you know, that hurt us at times, you know, but you live and you learn as an entrepreneur, right? You're going to make thousands and thousands of mistakes. But the biggest and most important part is that you learn from your mistakes. So a part of that is hiring the right people. That's going to set you up for success. It's all about people. That's what I believe. And that's what we try to instill in our company culture and the way we grow as a company. So my advice to other entrepreneurs out there is be very picky with who you hire. Ensure that you have set processes and procedures during your interviews, and don't be desperate to hire. You know, and I think a lot of companies make those kinds of mistakes, but as I said before, the key is that you learn from them. So, yeah.
So totally agree with you. The key is to learn from your failures and move on. But okay, while we're discussing, you discussed that, okay, you basically, you have bootstrapped the whole company. I mean, you didn't get any, you know, VC venture capitalist money or investor money, etc. And at least in my books, bootstrapping a company is much harder than raising money and finding more. So any insights or tips you can share with our fans or viewers?
Yeah, you know, I have a strong belief about this, that especially with the startups that we've dealt, because we've worked with hundreds of startups. We've built apps and websites for a lot of different small businesses and startup companies that are looking for funding. And my advice is try to start without any money. And I know that sounds a little odd, but you have to kind of learn the hard way. You have to learn how it is without you having any capital. Because the problem is right now, Panis, is that a lot of startups, they're expecting to generate revenue very quickly, and that comes down to a lack of patience, and it comes down to receiving that instant gratification. They want to get those results quickly, and in order to get results quickly, they're looking for funding. So they're seeking angel investors, they're seeking venture capitalists, and I'll tell you, I've met angel investors, I've met angel venture capitalists, several of them. I've even interviewed them on my podcast as well, and they're very difficult to convince. They're very difficult to partner with to receive any type of funding. You have to have an idea and concept that is a game changer, is trend setting, an idea or concept that is really a proof of concept that is already something that's tangible. So if you're selling, for example, this, I'll give you my coffee mug, right? So if this is something that's tangible that you can hold and you can see and touch, and there's sales behind this, right? If there's sales behind this, that means that there's a proof of concept. There's interest in the product. So for me to be able to sell to an investor, and let's just say I'm asking for $1 million in funding, it's a lot easier to get that kind of money when you have something that's tangible. But if you're looking to get funding on something like a piece of software, that's a lot harder. So you got to ensure that you're generating a lot of revenue behind that. You're marketing and selling your product. Your product is built, and you have essentially some sort of proof of concept. And I think that's something that a lot of startups, they make that mistake on. They're trying to seek capital on something that they don't even have completed yet. So it goes back to what I was saying before, that you have to put in a lot of work yourself, right? You have to grind, You have to work incredibly hard, fail a lot. And when you do those things, you're showing the investor that you have skin in the game. The investor wants to know that they can work with you. They want to know that I can trust this person. I can work with this person. I believe in this person. This person is going to make me money. The investors want to get a return on investment. It's all about the dollar for them. So in order to do that, put your own skin in the game, work your butt off, and try to get some traction on your product. And I think you're going to get a lot of attention. And I'm just speaking because I'm speaking in terms of me dealing with a lot of startups in the past that we've built applications for where they were looking for venture capital, but it's very difficult. One more thing I would add on to this is it's a lot easier to receive funding from investors when you have a product, as I just mentioned, right? If you're a service-based business like us, or if you're an accountant, something like that, right? It's very, very difficult to receive any type of funding. So you almost have no choice but to do everything yourself. And then whatever you get, you reinvest as much as you can back into the business. You nurture the business and you allow it to grow naturally over time. And you have to be patient with the process.
Yeah, definitely. Great advice, by the way. This is what I'm measuring also to a lot of Cypriot entrepreneurs here in Cyprus. Some people they get it, some people they don't get it. That's life.
Yeah.
Can you share some important milestones of setting up your tech company? You said maybe the first milestone was, going to Craigslist and closing your first clients. But can you share some important milestones? How this define the whole growth of your company?
Yeah. So there was, I would say there's probably hundreds of milestones, but I'll talk about maybe a few of them. One of them was the time where, me and my team, we were advertising as much as we could on Craigslist. And then we got into social media. We kept posting a lot on social media, and then we started to optimize the website. So that's called search engine optimization. The most of our revenue has come from search engine optimization. It hasn't really come from social media. Most of our target audience has been on Google. That's what we found. So I would say probably over 90% of the leads that we've gotten have come from Google, from all of our SEO, search engine optimization efforts over time. So a milestone was that we were marketing on Craigslist in the first year or two, and then we got heavily into SEO. And that's when we started to get a lot more better leads, higher quality leads that we were trying to close. And some we did close, and we've closed some big accounts. I think maybe the third or fourth year, I believe it was the fourth year, was the first year that we closed more than $100,000 account. We built an application that was more than $100,000 investment. So I think that was a big milestone, was I think third or fourth year, I don't quite remember, but it was the third or fourth year. And then we started to get more of those. And the company was just growing 30 to 40% almost every single year. Another milestone was that we became a digital marketing and a technology company. So we were building apps and websites, but we also were doing SEO for customers. We were doing social media management for customers. We were doing content, and we were also doing videos. So we ended up acquiring 2 small video businesses here in Raleigh. Nothing to brag about. They're very, very small, but it did really transform the business. It was a big step for us. We did make revenue from videos, from animation, all that, from the creative side, as well as applications. So a positive step in the company was that we were adding new services to basically allow us to be more competitive in the market. It's very difficult for a company like us to compete in the market. There's so many development shops out there. I mean, you know, Panis, like there's probably hundreds of thousands of development shops out there in the world. So you got to do whatever it takes to differentiate yourself in the market, to be unique in the market. So that's what we were trying to do, and we were adding on some of those services. And I think another milestone was that we got into some emerging technologies. So we started to do, a few years later, we started to do some artificial intelligence within some products, and we did a little bit of blockchain stuff, and as well as Internet of Things, IoT as well. So those were new technologies. Not a lot of other companies about 2 to 3 years ago were doing that. So we got into that, I think, at a good time. And you know, I believe that was a good stepping stone for the company as well. So those are just, I believe, a few milestones that really positively impacted the company. And we stuck to what we were good at. So that's some advice that I have for other people is stick to your strengths. You can work on your weaknesses, but I wouldn't focus all of your time on your weaknesses. You can focus your whole entire life on your weaknesses. Focus on your God-given talent and your skills, and work on those and be the best in that. Be the best at work on those skills and try to be the best on those skills. It's better to be amazing at one thing than to be okay at 100 things.
Yeah.
So
we have some questions and comments. We will mention them on the end, because we have some questions I have some questions for Michael to answer. So yeah, we'll answer all the questions at the end. Okay, what are people least excited by your services, or what they love about the services of the company? Do you have any client or user stories to share with us?
did you say what client is least excited?
Yeah, and what they love about you, and what basically what they don't love about you.
What they don't like? I think,
Or I mean, just share. You know, what I would like to do is maybe you have a client or user story to share with us. That would be great.
what I can do is, well, I'll tell you. I mean, yeah, there's definitely there's a lot of great things, and there's things that some clients or some leads may not may find more difficult to understand. For example, so I'll talk about the good first. You know, with us, we're a small business, right? Right now, we have about 25 full-time people. We're not a large company. So we offer a lot of personal attention to our customers, and they love that. So with all of our customers, we're incredibly responsive. I mean, the Pete and the tech team, they get back to customers within minutes, sometimes within seconds after a response. And, you know, so there's a lot of that real-time communication. And when you're developing and implementing applications, right? Custom mobile web applications, or even just a simple website, it requires heavy communication, real-time communication, and the customers love it. And that's, I think, been a very positive thing in the company, is that they're getting that very quickly, and they're satisfied by it, you know? So that's one thing. And, you know, the entire team is very passionate. So we try to instill that passion into the projects. You know, the technical team, they love building something from nothing. They love building these innovative, creative products. So when we deliver something, you know, when we deliver something very innovative to the customer and they're happy, that makes us all feel good. You know, so you have to enjoy what you do. You got to love what you do. You got to, and you got to be authentic about it. You really have to love what you do inside, and that goes a long way. I've experienced some other business owners that they just do something just to do it, to make money. And I think that's the wrong approach. If you are going to start something, you have to be passionate, and you got to feel there's purpose behind it. And it goes back to your intentions and your motives. that I will always preach about that. I will continue to preach about that. You have to ensure that you have the right intention behind what you do. And when we started this company, we wanted to make a difference in other companies, and we wanted to give some sort of positive footprint, and we wanted to make this positive difference for other small businesses and even larger companies. And part of that is technology, so that's what we believe, and that's what we try to instill in within the culture in the company. But yeah, like I said before, responsiveness is something that I feel is very valuable to our customers, and the passion that we have, the personality that we have, and also, I hate to say it, but we are the way that we provide top quality work, but at the same time, we're pretty affordable in the way we price out projects. There's a lot of other competition that they will provide the same quality or less quality work, and they charge crazy high rates. For us, we're kind of in the middle. We're not low, but we're not super high either. So we're like in a good medium for our pricing. So that makes us very competitive, and I believe to be a threat in the market. And I think that's why we're still standing, that it plays a vital role and piece in our journey as a company. Something that you said that our customers or people may not like is that we have offshore people. I'm proud to say it, right? We have full-time developers in India, and honestly, they're amazing. They're great people. They're so talented. Lots of skills over there, especially technical skills in coding. And we've been able to improve on a lot of our processes in hiring over there. And that took a lot of trial and error. Don't get me wrong. We've made our mistakes, 100%.
Yeah,
We've made thousands of mistakes. But over time, we've learned from them. And now we're able to just retain amazing talent and even onboard new good talent, and it goes back to what I mentioned before, is having the right people in your team is one of the most important aspects of growing a company and moving forward. So some customers, they find it difficult when you say that you have people offshore. And when I first talk with a customer or a prospect, I tell them that. I'm very honest and transparent. And I mention that, we do have offshore people. And most of them right now, because of the way, COVID and coronavirus, everything's changing now. Everything's just completely shifted. And the mindset has changed. But before, we had our difficult times of convincing them that, try to work with us, even though we have offshore people, but please still try to kind of, please try to work with us. And sometimes it was tough. Sometimes, we had our tough times of trying to close that business because, some people, especially here in the US, they want to work with local talent. But at the end of the day, it's a global economy. I mean, look at the biggest companies in the world. They have people all over the planet. So I don't think that we're any different,
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of startups, maybe here is the question that we got about outsourcing. If it's good, do you believe that for a startup it's good to outsource some stuff, maybe in the beginning or later? So what do you believe about that?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So there is a difference between outsourcing and offshoring, right? So people get confused by that. When we were first started as a company, we were outsourcing. So what we did is we had another company that we knew, right? Another company in India that was helping us to implement and deliver our client work, right? So that itself was very difficult because when you're outsourcing, you're essentially helping another company grow. You know what I mean? They're not full-time for you. It's very difficult. Then over time, what we thought is like, let's hire our own people. We'll maybe pay a little bit more money, but let's hire our own people, retain the type of talent that we're looking, that really meets our vision, that meets our mission, our goals and objectives, and even even the types of personalities that we want within the business. And let's be more picky. And that's what we did. So we started to hire remote full-time people offshore. And that took our company to another level when we did that. So when we went from outsourcing to offshoring, it was a game changer. It was a game changer for the company. Now, I'll tell you this: if you're a startup and you bootstrap like we did, and you have no money, then maybe outsourcing could be a little bit. It could be more beneficial because it's probably more affordable and it's more cost friendly to you. But there's also a lot of high risk with that because you're hiring people that are not fully dedicated to your project. And you're going to have some problems with customers. Let me just put it that way. You're going to have customer problems and issues. But for us, things got better as we hired more talent here as well, because we have some people in the US, and then when we hired more talent offshore, and that was really good for us.
At the moment, Michael, how do you measure success? What are your key metrics in the company? Yeah, if you want to share that.
I think there are tangible measures of success, and there are intangible. The tangible measures of success is your company profitable? You know, are you just growing in top line revenue, or do you actually have profit on, at the end of the bottom line? Are you profitable every year? And I think that says a lot, because if you're profitable, that means you're financially aware, and it means that you're managing your finances and your operations correctly. So without operations, you don't have a business, right? So pay attention to your finances, pay attention to your numbers. I think that's incredibly important. Have someone to help you do that. And that's what we've done. We've hired some amazing people, as well that helped us do that. But we've also made our mistakes as well. I mean, it's you're sometimes only focused on the top line, right? You're only focused on trying to get new business and retaining existing customers, but you also have to be very focused on managing your expenses and ensuring that you have profit. Try to ensure that you have profit at the end of every quarter, especially at the end of every fiscal year, that you're profitable as a company. And I think that shows that the strength of the company, the organization. Being transparent here, when you're a startup, the first 2 to 3 years, it's very difficult to make profit. You can't expect to make your money back in the first few years. So people have to let that go. That's a problem a lot of entrepreneurs make. They're impatient. Patience is one of the most important elements in success. Is patience. I call it the 2 P's. It's patience and perseverance. BP. Patience and perseverance are 2 of the most important characteristics, elements, whatever you want to call it, in being successful. And we, as a company, we heavily persevered. I mean, Panis, we went through so much crap over the last 9 years. It's been unbelievable. And I want to talk this way because others need to understand that it's a grinding process. It's not what you see on Facebook driving Lamborghinis and Ferraris. It's a rough, this, Panis, you're an entrepreneur yourself. It's a very rough process. And it's good for you to set yourself with those expectations and be mindful of that. And once you're mindful of that, I think it's actually easier because that you're gonna have a lot of tough times, and you're gonna expect it, and that will prepare you to solve problems. You're a problem solver as an entrepreneur. You're a problem solver as a business owner. There's always a way to get through an issue. Either you jump over it, you break through the wall, you go around the wall, but there's always going to be a wall. Always. Sometimes you're going to have multiple walls every single day. So those are ways I measure is being patient. Try to understand that you're going to be patient, never give up, and ultimately be happy. Love what you do. I mean, if you're not happy and you don't have joy in what you're doing, then you might as well just quit today. So be happy, enjoy the process. Don't always focus on the result. Enjoy the entire journey of it. Because the journey, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. So yeah, those are kind of my KPIs, I would say.
Yeah. And okay, what's most exciting about your traction today? Maybe the moment that you close your first 100K client, or
Do you mean in terms of the entire 9 years we've been around, or lately?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. What was the most exciting about your traction on building up the company?
You know, I wouldn't say it's one moment. I would say it's the experience that me and even, and my business partner, Pete, the experience that we've gained. It's been really just an education. It really has. I mean, you're in school learning, except you're learning out there in the real world, so I think it's hard for me to say one moment. I would just say the experience and all the memories that we've gained have been, I mean, I think that's immeasurable. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm laughing because Pete is on the line and he's mentioned the Vegas event.
Oh, the Vegas event. Yeah, actually that was a good one. Yeah, I would say, I mean, that was a really, really fun time. We went to Vegas for a big conference, and actually I spoke at that conference, and we were promoting a product that we built years ago. And that was pretty cool. Yeah, we had this really swanky, nice hotel. We thought we were big ballers, we stayed at this, at the Aria in Vegas. It was cool. We felt like very successful businessmen, but yeah, that was a good memory.
Okay, your brother, I love how humble and transparent Michael is. Amazing qualities for a successful entrepreneur, and totally agree with George.
That must be my brother.
Yeah, your brother. Yeah. Yeah, but he has he's spot on. I mean, if you're not humble and transparent, you will not actually make it and become one of the successful, etc.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And in general, okay, what's your, first of all, if you were building a tech company, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't building a tech company, what would I be doing?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. In terms of
working, let's say.
I think I would be, if I wasn't, so I'm going to mention something here. So building this company helped me to become an entrepreneur, because Panis, before this company, I never thought of myself as an entrepreneur, quite frankly. It wasn't something I thought about doing. This was a blessing in disguise how this happened. So I wasn't really, I believe I've had an entrepreneurial spirit growing up, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I was going to be an entrepreneur. I did dream of it growing up, but yeah, I probably would be working, doing marketing for another company. I love sports marketing. So I was obsessed with trying to get hired at Nike and Puma and Adidas years and years ago. When I was in college, I was applying at all these different places when I was close to graduating. So probably because I'm very focused and goal oriented, and I try to ensure I do something that makes me happy, I would probably be doing branding or marketing in one of those positions at a company that I liked, or I don't know. But I don't know if I would be an entrepreneur if it wasn't for Imaginovation. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know. Right now I have all this experience, so now it's different, right? Would we start other companies? Absolutely. I mean, there's other things that we have, Pete and I have visions for future products that we might develop internally, things like that. So we are thinking about opening up new businesses and new product ventures. And, once you've done it before, even with thousands of successes and thousands of failures, the key is that you've done it before. You've been through that before for almost 10 years. So it's a lot easier to do it the second time.
Yeah, of course. Sure. 100%. What's your biggest threat on a personal and a company level, in your opinion? Maybe.
Do you mean threat internally or just anything? A threat in just while growing a company? What's a threat?
Anything, maybe anything. Yeah.
I think I think now, because there's so many companies there's so many startups right now. I believe there's from the statistics I read, there's I think a few thousand startups that in the world that they're being created every day. So that just shows you every day there are new companies that are being started. So when there's a lot of new companies, that means that there's a crazy amount of competition. So if there's a crazy amount of competition, you have to find a way to differentiate yourself and niche out and be different in the market. And that's very, very tough. I mean, we've struggled with it too. You know, it's hard to be different. It's hard to be unique. You got to take big risks in pivoting a certain direction or focusing in a certain way to capture more attention. Because right now, it's all about people talk about the new currency is attention. Have you heard about that? I mean, you're a marketing guy.
Okay.
It's attention, right? It's all about, on a technical perspective, it's about data. Data is like the new gold. It's the new currency. And on an untechnical perspective, more marketing, it's about attention. So you have to find ways to get both of those, right? Collect data could mean something like even subscribers, right? You're getting information from people. Try to collect data. Try to find ways to get people in the door in your company. Try to so there's a lot of things that you have to do to increase attention and to increase your company on a technical perspective. So with that being said, is I think one of the toughest things is differentiating yourself, right? You can have this amazing, unique product, but it doesn't mean that that's going to be successful, So that's the risk. You can be either very, very different and be out there and not make it, or you can be a company that, like an accountant, right? There's a lot of accountants out there, or legal firms, or even development shops. There's a lot of competition. You got to do what you can to differentiate yourself in the market, because right now everyone is starting a business, everybody. So especially after COVID, I think perspective is changed on a whole new level.
Yeah. Definitely after COVID, perspective and remote working is growing a lot. It's also, but I don't believe, to be honest, I believe that you need attention in order to get the client in. But
the attention's declining?
No, I believe that you need, if you're a company, you need to build attention, you need to find the attention where it is in order to get the client in. I mean, to get the leads in the company. But after that is about customer service. And I believe in order to retain your client, maybe, and here is where, I mean, companies maybe like, similar companies like us, coming to play. I mean, how you can sell and how you can sell different products to the same client. Because I believe that will be the future, especially now with all this optimization, etc. And when I discuss about personal threat, for example, is it a personal threat that marketing would be substituted by an AI, for example? You never know.
I don't know. I don't. I don't think it's going to be substituted by AI. I think AI is going to play a role in marketing.
Yeah, of course.
At the end of the day, yeah, about that, at the end of the day, Panis, I believe it's always going to come down to people. People are never going to go away, and you're still going to have to find a way to connect with people, whether it's virtually or whether it's, you know, you're shaking hands face to face. It's going to be all about people. I mean, I'm no expert in it. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope, you know, we're not going to turn into robots here, but I don't think so. But, you know, I think AI is going to open up a lot of new opportunities, and it's going to, you know, it's already adding to the marketing stack right now. You know, there's all these new AI marketing platforms coming out that are helping us, and they're automating processes, and they're making it easier for us marketers to focus our efforts on maybe somewhere else, right? But I think it's just going to be a part of the process, artificial intelligence. And I like what you said, actually, Panis, about customers. That is true. Customer experience is one of the most important elements in growing a business. What I meant before is just something that people have to be aware of is they have to try and differentiate themselves and be a little bit different, you know, and different doesn't mean that you have to be the next Facebook or you have to be the next Uber, you have to be the next trend-setting idea. I think that approach is completely wrong. Honestly, I really do. I think a lot of entrepreneurs and startups, they have this mentality where I need to be so different and have this product that no one's ever done before. But you know what the problem with that is? If there's no competition, if no one's ever done it, how do you know that the market even needs it? There's no demand in the market. People have to think about that. If you're in a space, let's just say, let's talk about, for example, a podcast. Okay, for a podcast. Okay, so right now there's over 500,000 podcasts in the world. There's like I believe 500,000 to 700,000 different podcasts in the world right now. There's really not that many, but there's enough, right? So even if you create this podcast, there's a huge amount of potential for you to be successful because you know there's demand in the market. Other people have done it. Other people are making money from it. So the potential is very high. So you have to find that, you have to have that fine balance. That's something I think entrepreneurs have to be aware of.
And this is what happening with disruptive startups, because disruptive startups, they create a new market. So, and for example, very few of the startups are disruptive, you know, like Uber, like Airbnb, like, and this is a very small amount. And actually, especially if you're trying to raise money from investors, if you're a very disruptive startup, it will be difficult in the beginning. If you cannot prove that there is also a market, then when you prove that there is a market for that, it's easy. All of the people will be, because you'll be the first creating this market. That's the big goal for a disruptive startup. That is something very, very, very new, very, very different, to actually prove in the first month or in the first 1-2 years that actually this market exists. And actually this market has trend to grow, because we all have seen what happened with Airbnb now with COVID. We have to change the whole model, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening now. I mean, look at Uber. Uber is losing money every quarter. I think they're down billions of dollars. You know, there's a lot of problems with Uber, and they were apparently a disruptive, disruptive business and, business model and product. And then look at, there's a lot, there are a lot of companies that are disruptive, but it's difficult to sustain, right? You can be very disruptive, but you have to look at the sustainability levels. Is it easy to sustain and retain customers? It's tough, you know, you have to, it's a tough game. What I try to tell people with anyone starting a company, even if you have a lot of competition, as I mentioned before, and you are raising capital, right? Or you're trying to raise capital, make sure that you build a good product. You have to have a good product, even if the product, like I said, has competition. That's okay, because you know there's demand, but make sure that your product is very intuitive. It's easy to use. It's simple. Don't overcomplicate it. So your product and your service model has to be simple. I think we overcomplicate it. I've done it too. I've overcomplicated my, me and Pete have overcomplicated our company many times. It's going to happen, but the simpler your business is internally, the simpler it's going to be to your customer. Same thing with a product. Keep it simple. Keep it intuitive. Keep it sleek. Keep it modern. And I think that will go a long way. And also in addition to that is ensure that you're putting in the work to sell your business. And I don't mean sell your business as in try to get capital. I mean sell your business as in trying to increase traction, trying to grow revenue. If you can grow revenue for your company, for your product, let's just say you have a great concept, right? A great concept that has competition. If you have that and you're working hard, you and your team are working hard and you're generating revenue, then after some time, you've proven that you can generate revenue. It has potential. Then an investor will actually listen to you. They're going to be like, this product is not only innovative, but these guys have made money from this. If I give them $500,000 or $1 million or 10 million, whatever they're asking for, they have a lot of opportunity to really skyrocket the business. So you have to put in the work yourself. That's important. You got to make those sacrifices. And sometimes I'm not seeing that from people. They wanted the easy way out. You got to put in the work. You don't put in the work, nothing's going to happen. So, that's a core fundamental belief that I have, No,
you're 100% right. And okay, you are a Cypriot living and building a successful tech company in the US. Do you have any advice for young entrepreneurs that they might want to start also a company in the US or even in Cyprus?
One of the things that comes to mind, aside from I talked about some of these other characteristics that you have to have here, is patience, perseverance, all of that. I think I talked a lot about that, but aside from that is don't overthink it. If you have something that you love and that you're passionate about, just start it and then move on from there. Make sure that you have a business plan, make sure that you document, and you're following it. Another thing I would say is try to get a mentor or someone to help you. I think it's very difficult to do it just yourself because you only know what you know. And if you get a little bit of guidance, that helps. If you notice, a lot of the most successful people in the world, Punnies, they have mentors, they have advisors that guide them, even though they may not talk about it, but they do. A lot of them have advisors. So you try to get a mentor, seek help from people, ask, be active on social media, try to get advice, especially on LinkedIn. LinkedIn right now is booming. Don't spend your time on TikTok, spend your time on LinkedIn where you're going to be really, seeking advice from people who have done it before. And what's crazy? This is something that I feel strongly about. If you ask, you will receive. That is so true. If you ask people nicely with right in a very professional way, and that you really are trying to get help from them, people are willing to help. It's part of our human nature. People want to help each other. So use the help that you have. Use your community. Use your resources, your family, your friends. People have so much knowledge, and try to gain that knowledge, turn it into wisdom, and you're going to get experience over time, and you're going to start to create an actual business that has an operation. So that's my feedback is whether you have a service or product and you're passionate and you have this something in your heart, something that is inspiring to you, go with it. Don't hesitate. Stop hesitating and just move forward with it, and don't overthink it, because a lot of us overthink everything and we overcomplicate everything. So that would be my piece of advice.
Less is more. This is the rule, and this would be the rule. Okay, Marianne Forestier, or you wants to see a by you.
My sister-in-law, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, in general, what is your daily motivation when you wake up?
When I wake up,
how do you motivate yourself?
Well, right now I try to work out in the morning, but that's only now because of COVID. I was never working out in the mornings before. But for me, a big thing is I hold my faith very strongly with me. I have a lot of faith. I have strong faith. So I pray every single morning. I wake up, I'll do some push-ups. I'll try to wake up my body. So I'll do like maybe 30, 40, 50 push-ups. And then I go into the shower and I pray. I literally do. That's what I do. And it helps me. It gives me purpose. I feel more aligned when I do pray. If I don't pray, I feel very, very off balance. So yeah, I think my faith in God is very important, and that gives me inspiration. That gives me purpose. And everyone has something different. Some people will meditate, or some people will do different things, but find something that's going to wake your body up, wake your mind up, and try to have purpose in what you want to do for the day. I have this. We actually have this task system. It's really cool, Panis. We have this really cool task system, and where we actually built internally, and essentially it's really helpful. It aligns on. It allows me to prioritize what I want to work on for the day, which is cool. So that's something else I think people can really learn from, is try to be a little task oriented. And this is coming from a very unorganized person. I'm not organized. In fact, I hate organization. For me, I just love create. I love to create things, right? I love design. I love all that stuff. So I'm not the most organized person, but I've gotten a lot better over time, and that's helped me. That's helped me to become more efficient. So try to prioritize what you're going to do in that day, and I think you're going to achieve a lot more.
If creative people they manage to have some task-oriented plan, then we can do. Because I am the same, so we can do great stuff, I think.
Yeah, it helps.
But it's difficult, and yeah. Also, what we will do? Let's say you had limited resources. What you will do?
If we have limited resources, you just scale back.
Unlimited.
Oh, unlimited.
Yeah.
Oh, oh man. I think if we had unlimited resources, we would probably create, because we develop products, we would probably create some amazing products. We have all these ideas, but it's tough to make them a reality because customers come first, right? So it's tough to develop those. But if we had unlimited resources, yeah, I would say we'd probably create some really cool products that we can sell out in the market, and then create other companies. That's probably what we would do if resources were unlimited. We would create new opportunities for sure. We would build and market a lot of different products.
Okay. If you had the opportunity to only work in one project for the year to transform your tech company, what it will be and why?
One project. I would say we would probably do something around a game. Yeah, a game, or even incorporating, some sort of game, or even potential gamification that incorporates some artificial intelligence, something like that. I mean, because I'll tell you that right now there's a high demand in games. Yeah, we've noticed that. Very high demand, and even in gamification. I know they're two different things, but we've experienced the gaming aspect of products, and increasing motivation and things like that to use a product there's a lot of different things, but I would say game, you know, maybe potentially create like some sort of game, I think would really do wonders for us. Yeah.
Okay, I think
It would take us to I think it would take us to another level.
Yeah. I think this is your sister, Ria Georgiou Paranzo. Correct or not?
My sister, yeah, Ria. Yeah.
Mike has so much heart and so much passion that shows. Imaginovation is his passion. And they are proud for you and Pete. And what do you have created and accomplished in the last 8 years?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah, it's been a journey.
Okay, what is, before we go to the last question, okay, you have seen them discuss a bit earlier about these disruptive technologies, AI, IoT, taking over our daily life. And how do you see the future evolving around these technologies?
If this was last year, I probably would have a different answer, but I think what's happening right now, especially with the virus, as we talked about a few times in this episode, I think is changing the behavior of people. So, and changing perspective. So with that being said, I think where things are going with technology is we need to humanize technology. I think that technology can sometimes distance us. And right now we're noticing, right now you're in Cypriot, you're in Cyprus, and I'm here in North Carolina, right? And we're having this, you know, we have this opportunity to talk with each other, and that's great, you know, and we can do this through Zoom, which is a technology. And I think that there's going to be more products like that that are connecting people. Because like I said before, at the end of the day, people are going to be standing here. That's what I believe. Someone will say something different. They're going to say robots or whatever it is, but I believe it's going to be people. We need people. We're always going to need people. That's not going to go away. So we need to, I think technology is going to be more humanized. It's going to be more about the person. It's going to be more about helping someone else. It's funny that you asked this question, Panis, because I interviewed some people on my podcast lately, and they had a very similar answer. They said technology is going to be more humanized. It's going to be more people-oriented. And I think we need to find a way to connect with with the people around us, with our community. I mean, without your brothers and sisters, right? Without the support team that you have, what do you have? You're just by yourself. It's you and Zoom. It's you and your computer. You need people around you to support you. You know, that's really important to keep you balanced, to keep you aligned. You need people to help you throughout your life, your family, you know? So I think, I don't know the exact answer, but I think it'll be a stronger connection between people and technology. So well, let's see what happens.
You know, Michael, a lot of people are saying to me, why don't you record the sessions and you don't do them live? Why do you choose Facebook Live and you don't do podcasts that you can reach a lot of people? By the way, we're trying to get also all these podcasts and material that we created throughout the years into audio and other elements. But why do you prefer, I have this question, why do you prefer Facebook Live that is more interactive? And yeah, I prefer that because you can see me, I can see you, you can discuss, you can comment. There is this real interactive that it's like we try, and this is also one of the good features of Facebook Live. Okay, a lot of people, they are using it with pre-recorded material, I understand this. But again, this is the thing and this is why it's so successful, the Facebook Live feature, because you can interact on a real time mode with your friends, fans, or whatever, people that they are watching or interacting with you.
That's right. Yeah.
And
that's why, and it's important.
Yeah, it's about, another thing is a lot of people right now, I mean, they never thought that they can, use Viber, for example, on a day-to-day and have a video call.
Mm-hmm.
with other people instead of having only voice. I mean,
It's crazy.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the need now make them, you know, identify these tools and use them in their full capacity. Because a lot of us, were using, or for example, using voice text in WhatsApp instead of, you know, sending.
Yeah.
And this is about humanizing technology, I think. It's
Yeah.
some simple
It's true.
stuff.
You know, and one more thing I want to add to that before we finish, Panis, is storytelling. You know, that's why I love storytelling. Even business storytelling, or even just storytelling in general, is the story. It's like you asked me about my story, right? I think everyone has a story, and we need to leverage it, and we need to utilize it for our benefit. Everyone goes through a lot of challenges. You know, I guarantee you've been through, you know, you've been through your failures, your successes, you've been through your obstacles, just like everybody else. And we need to utilize that, use it for your benefit. Don't just let that go. We can't just let go of the story and all the stuff, all the different things that we've been through in the past. Use that to your benefit and let it be a part of who you are, and use it to inspire people. And that can go a long, long way. We've used storytelling as a tactic, actually. Pete and I use storytelling. We created some videos about the story of the company, and it really resonated with a lot of people over time. And I think that's, you know, my belief. I think that's very important, you know? So, yeah, use the challenges that you've been through.
It isn't a lot of people that they are starting now. When I tell them, okay, don't just share stuff in Facebook, etc. I mean, build a story, continuous story about your company and about your product. I know that is very difficult to do. You might need more resources to do it.
It's very hard. Yeah, it is hard.
But eventually, it will build a better community for your product and your company.
And Panis, also build a story for yourself. That's one more thing I was going to say, is build a story for yourself. It doesn't always have to be about the company. At the end of the day, you're going to invest in people, right? Like we talked about, it's not just about the product. The product can be amazing, or the service, but I know that people have invested in us because they liked us. You know, maybe we weren't unique or different, but we were different. We represented the company, and they invested in us because they trusted us. They enjoyed us. They saw something different in us, right? So that's another thing I think that we need to, you know, people need to consider when they're starting or when they're growing themselves and their businesses.
Okay, and my last question is the future. What is the future of Imaginovation? I mean, where do you see the company in 3 months, 6 months, 18 months?
I would say the company, you know, right now because of the virus and everything, there's a lot of things that we're still rebuilding on and we're improving on. But the company has a lot of promise and opportunity. We're starting to work with some really amazing companies. I think for us, we're kind of in that part of the journey where we're thinking of another avenue to generate new revenue, and that's potentially create a new product is something that we might consider, or even add that new service like we talked about is gaming. You know, we're starting to work on some small games right now and even gamification applications. So we might get a little bit more into that, that I think will even make us more different, because that's to do those types of things. I'm not a developer, but from what my team tells me, they're very difficult and there's a lot that goes in it. So I would say, you know, I could see us getting into, you know, some more gamification or even more gaming type products. And potentially developing some internal products for us to market and sell. And even there's an opportunity that we might even get into marketing in the future as well, because we're really good at marketing our company and we can market other companies. We understand SEO pretty well, I would say. And SEO is a science. There's a lot that goes behind search engine optimization, and we've been able to generate thousands and thousands of leads over the course of the last 9 years that helped us to make a lot of revenue. So yeah, those are all discussions, but nothing that's solidified yet.
Great.
So yeah.
Thank you for joining our podcast. Thank you all for watching and listening, and for your comments, etc. And yeah, if you want to share some last comments before we close, feel free to do it.
No, just thanks for everyone for tuning in and listen to Panis and his Disrupt Cyprus. And I know that you're doing a lot of you started another media company, is that right? I remember last time you spoke, you started something else.
Yeah, we have started Your Growth Media. It's a growth marketing agency. We'll be helping companies to grow with data-driven digital marketing. Mm-hmm. And some other things will be announcing more very soon. And yeah, the podcast will stay featuring DisruptCyprus, will feature Cypriot founders around the world or tech entrepreneurs. And have also now Disrupt Europe that will focus. It will be a podcast focusing on European entrepreneurs and startup founders.
Cool.
That's it.
Yeah, awesome. And hope everyone can check out our website. It's www.imaginovation.net. I'm sure Panis will have it in the comments. And also we have a podcast that's on iTunes and Spotify, Google Play. It's called Tales from the Pros. It's a business storytelling podcast. We interview top business and thought leaders around the world, telling their stories of their struggle and success. So go ahead and check that out.
Yeah, I'm adding the link now. The website. But yeah, if you are listening, you want to connect with Michael, just drop me a message and bring me in touch over there.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it, Panis. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Yep. Bye-bye.